We live, we live. Kind of first and foremost, like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Most High God Yahweh. There's only God, Son Yahawashi, who the Lord ignorantly called Jesus Christ. It's your brother Kal Thawadath la YAHAWAH, joined by my powerful, beloved brother. You can
Salak,
hear me?
you from me.
God,
Yeah,
all
kind of.
praise.
I'm back on. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you can see by the title, we're gonna go into the parable of the talents, right? And it's a pretty famous parable, right? People quote it all the time, but we're gonna delve into it, see what the Spirit reveals, see what we can extrapolate from it. Again, everything that we're doing it with the hope that we are where we are in the prophetic timeline, meaning we have to now, not we should have been, but now more so there's an urgency for us to speed up the work, not speed up the work, but put our all into the work, right? When you start, when you're running a race and you start seeing the finish line, it should motivate you more to cross that finish line, meaning you should start putting your all into the race at that point to finish. So we do these lessons, we do these lives, we do these videos, Lord willing, to edify our nation and to put that fire in our behind so that way we can cross that finish line and give all that we have, right? And Lord willing, we can go into that with this understanding, right? So if I could get Baba Kashaf for me, Romans 13 and 11, right? We're going to go into Romans 13 and 11.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 11. And
Mm-hmm.
that knowing the time, that
Mm-hmm.
now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Now is our salvation nearer than when we believe, right? So now it's time to awake out of sleep, right? Now it's time for us to wake out of sleep. Now it's time for us to actually do the things that we need to do. Like, for example, in that analogy right now of going to sleep, right? Now that we need to wake up. When y'all the comment just threw me for a loop real quick, right? But when you wake up out of sleep, right, you have to now start getting ready to go out and tackle the day, right? So now when we wake up, because our salvation there that we believe, we have to go out and tackle the day, meaning we have to go out and do what we need to do to prepare to receive that salvation that's coming, right? You can't keep hitting the snooze, you can't keep hitting the alarm and then be surprised when you're late for the bus. You didn't get up when you needed to get up, right? You didn't get up when you need to get up, get a shower, put your clothes on, come out in a timely fashion to meet that bus. So when that bus came, you weren't there and it kept going. That bus is not going to stop for you, all right? Contrary to a lot of our people, salvation isn't going to wait for you, right? The bus called salvation isn't going to wait for you to get ready. You have to be ready to meet it, right? And that's another parable. Lord willing, we go into these series where we break down parables, right? When it talks about the five foolish versions and the five wise versions, you have to be ready to meet the bridegroom when it's there. Likewise, you have to be ready to meet that bus when it's there. Otherwise, you're not going to get that salvation, right? You had a point too, bro?
No, not right now.
Uh, Let me see if I could get this verse real quick. In Proverbs 6 and 10, I believe it is, right?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yet a little sleep, a little slumber,
Mm-hmm.
a little folding of the hands to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And verse 11, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and they want as an armed man.
Right. So, but that's what our people say, though, right? Yell a little more slumber. Let me get a little more. Let me still a little bit. I got. Let me chill a little bit. I got more time. I don't got to get ready right. Right. Let me get 5 more minutes. Right. Let me get 1 more year. Let me get 6 more months. Nah. Right. There's coming a time where we're running out of grace. Right. When that ark closes, like in the days of Noah, and then it's up. There's nothing you can go. There's no pleading you can go. There's no mercies you can give to the Lord. There's no platitudes you can offer up to the Lord for him to give you extra time, right? And that's why the Bible talks about seeking the Lord yet while he may be found. While you still have time to seek him now, right? And in that seeking of the Lord, how you should be behaving, what the seeking of the Lord looks like, right? So, Lord willing, that's what we're going to go into in this parable about the talents, right? If you had any precepts to or any point to.
Yeah, it just to say that this is with I believe that was going into the ant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's just like how people be. They want to hit the snooze button. I mean, you got work coming up. If I can just get 10 minutes, in reality, the 10 minutes ain't going to do nothing. It's actually going to probably hurt you more if you
Yep.
get more comfortable within the sleep. Then
Mm-hmm.
now you got to even fight more through it to try to get up. And the thing is that people think, oh well, it's a lot more that got to happen. A lot of prophecy happened while you've been smoking and living your best life. So a lot of times people know that they're Israelites. Person on the job, they seen the fringes and everything like that. Oh, yeah, that's what's up. Most High in Christ. Yeah, I mean, but I'm still what they say exactly. They said I'm still a little lukewarm.
I'm
Da, da,
still
da.
working on myself.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, and I just tried to give them encouragement, to still turn. I didn't really kind of like black out on them or whatnot about it, but I was just saying that sometimes things could be closer than what you can expect, and a lot of times you think that a door is peeking open, but it's actually wider open than than you think. As a matter of fact, it's not even that it's open; it's the fact that it's actually closing. Like how you said, like you think it's opening, but the door is actually closing.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's almost time to finish closing it because you already done let everybody know, everybody that's supposed to be on the bus, supposed to be on the bus. Now you think, oh, okay, bet you know, maybe the train ain't gonna leave a little bit. Yeah, I got a little bit more time. This ain't a train you want to miss.
Listen, you keep thinking that you got a little bit more time is why people be late. It's like when you go into the airport, I don't know if brothers or sisters ever traveled, right? But when you go into the airport, they usually advise you to come at least an hour and a half, 2 hours early. Why? So you can go through baggage claims, so you can do all of that, right? It's like getting prepared for salvation. You rather be early than late. There's no there's no harm being there early, right? That's why scripture talks about make no tarrying to turn to the Lord. All right, I could turn to the Lord today and still have 10 years left. Would it have been better for me to turn to the Lord 10 years later? No, because who knows what's required for me to get that salvation? I could turn to the Lord in that 10 years and then I get there and be like, oh, yeah, no, you didn't do enough, brother. You had 10 years to get ready to do enough in the truth, but you waited that 10 years because you thought you had enough time. You just getting there and didn't do enough to qualify, brother, right? Your credentials ain't there. You had a
If I,
point.
yeah, I bring this real quick piece about it's Proverbs 27 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Boast not thyself of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what a day may bring forth.
You
Or You
don't.
don't you don't really know what's going to go on tomorrow, right? You think, oh, okay, they're not issuing the chip yet. You know, it's not this happening, it's not that. They're pushing AI real heavy, right?
Yep.
We're basically living in a virtual prison. Like just because you don't see prison cells, you can go outside, you can move around in your crib, you can drive around, you know, more and more, oh, where your papers at? I mean, where your citizenship at? The more and more, right, where we are entering, well, we've been in a prison, but
Mm-hmm.
more and more, this prison cell is getting smaller and smaller, right? The freedom of speech is getting smaller and smaller by the day.
Yeah. And because you think you got a little bit more wiggle room with your pinky toe in that cell, you think you got enough time. You want to wait until the cell is like barely away from your skin to react. By then it's too late. The door's already closed. Right. So if we could get that Matthew 25, YaBarakKa 25 and 14. because we were talking about seeking the Lord, right? The seeking of the Lord and what that looks like, how that looks like in your day to day life, right? And what I want brothers and sisters to keep in mind is the end goal of the Israelites and the Highways and Bibles is to establish Israel, to make Israel a praise on the Lord and the earth again through the mechanism of the Lord, right? The Lord is going to make Israel a praise on the earth again. How? By us seeking Him and doing His will. That's how we establish the Lord, the praise in the Lord, right? There's a precept, you don't got to get it. There's a precept in Isaiah 62, I believe it is, that says, give the Lord no rest until He established and make Jerusalem a praise on the earth again, right? So in that seeking of the Lord, that's how we give Him no rest. That's how we keep giving them a reason. Okay, these people really want to get out of here. I'm seeing a camp pop up. I'm seeing them feeding the homeless of their people. I'm seeing them actually caring about each other. I'm seeing them actually live up to the commandments that I gave them. They must really want to get out of here then. That's how we give the Lord no rest until He established Jerusalem, praise on the earth. But we're not doing that because why? We're settled on our lease, right? So let's start from the beginning. Matthew 20,
Like,
24.
verse 14, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country,
Mm-hmm.
who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods.
Right. So let's stop right there real quick. It says the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, right? Who called his own servants and delivered them his goods. So what does this remind you all of? Right? It reminds us of the Great Commission when Christ came back down after He resurrected. He's that man. He's going off into a far country, which is the spiritual realm, right? And He calls his apostle or He called his disciple, and He said, "You know what? I'm going somewhere, right? I'm going somewhere you guys can't follow me. But again, I gave y'all gifts, right? He gave healing, prophecy, leadership, right? He gave His disciples gifts, and they were to go out into the nations and share those gifts and multiply those gifts. If we're going to look at the parable playing out in real life, right? In His immediate circle, we can look at that, right? So in that analogy, we know, but I'm getting ahead of myself real quick. But imagine in that analogy, Judas, right, being that servant who he was given something, he didn't multiply it, right, and then we saw his end. But again, that's just something to keep in mind until we get to that point. But that man is Christ, right, through the mechanism of the Lord, giving, going to a place, a far country, which His people can't follow Him, being in heaven, right, and He called them to do what? To deliver His goods unto them, right? You know what? I entrust you with these abilities, right? I entrust you with these gifts, these blessings that you can do much great power with. So I'm entrusting these things to y'all. What are y'all going to do with it, right? And this is what we're going to find out. Keep going.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
And unto one he gave 5 talents.
Unto one, He gave 5 talents. People like Peter or people like John who have multiple offices that they follow, or who were called the beloved of Christ, who have multiple things that they were blessed in, right? He gave 5 talents to one, right? And again, I want brothers and sisters to keep in mind the nation building aspect of it, right? Because I said earlier that we were settled on our lease, right? We have all these talents that we have, right? And then we'll look from the outside in thinking, man, I wish somebody in the community has this gift that would be great for the community while they have that gift, but they're not doing anything with it, right? If you have if you want the community to have a gift or to have a corner of the community that does this, then you go and you create that. You don't know how beneficial it is to the community until you go out and make it yourself. Instead of you sitting on the back and saying, man, I wish that was a place I could go to, or I wish that was something that was done in the community. Well, make the place that thing is done in the community then, right? If you want to make an Israelite school, you're like, damn, it would be nice if we had an Israelite school, right, where kids could go to, or Israelite daycare where kids could go to. All right, get together with a couple of people and see how you can make that logistically. We have to stop talking about things and actually doing this. It says life and death is in the power of the tongue. We speak these things, but we don't go out and live them, right? You had a point too?
And that's almost just, it's not tit for tat. It's not the same, but an Israelite that's been in the truth and saying, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that," and then just like how you said, weeks turn into months, months turn into a year or two. Like
Mm-hmm.
in a way, that's almost saying, basically like somebody in the world, oh, I'm gonna do this,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna do that. Like I'm gonna come to the Lord. I mean, obviously, it's not the same. I'm not trying to be tit for tat with it, but it's almost coming in the same spirit as it, because you know in yourself that you have the capabilities of doing said thing, but
Hmm.
you keep putting it off, right?
Yeah.
And this is something that me and bro, we actually talked about, right? And again, this is not even trying to just point the finger at y'all. Why? Because I done seen this type of spirit in myself,
Okay.
right? This the old well is me spirit, the I like, oh, I got so much on my plate, I can get to it tomorrow type spirit, right? Don't put off what you can do today.
Okay.
Don't put it off tomorrow, and you can do
Right.
it today, right? I mean, like, it's never too much to do something for the Lord. And then the thing is like, right, you had time, you got leisure time. Before we just came on, I was talking to bro about stuff that I'll be doing in my leisure time. So
Okay.
you have leisure time,
Yeah.
right? So let's not cut the Lord short, man.
God. And just to land back off of that, Christ says, worry not about tomorrow because they bring their own worries, right? So in that, people take that to mean, oh yeah, I'm not gonna worry about tomorrow. I'm gonna just let tomorrow rock. That's not what Christ is saying. Christ is saying, yeah, obviously don't stress too much about tomorrow, but what you can get done today, get it done today because you don't know what tomorrow is gonna bring. So if you have an ability to get something done today, don't be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put it off till tomorrow because you don't know what tomorrow brings. Tomorrow might make what you got today even worse. It might snowball and make tomorrow worse for you. So handle it today. But again, our people have that a little more slumber spirit. Oh yeah, let me get more 5 more minutes, right? Imagine Christ is coming back, right? And you gotta get your is together. And you're like, Christ, let me get 5 more minutes, Christ, right? Or angels trying to save you from Babylon, and you're like, oh, let me get 5 more minutes. I gotta put my what's it called on, or I gotta get my whatever it is. Just let me get 5 more minutes. No, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and that's the mindset that our people are severely lacking in, right? But that's something that is exemplified in this parable right now, in a sense that when we keep reading, you're gonna see um, what's the word I'm looking for? You're gonna see an act, or not even an act, but you're gonna see a principle being lived that our people need to live more, right? And again, these parables are for our learning, right? That's why Christ sent them to his disciples to teach them and to exhort them to live by it, right? So if we could keep going in that Bible shot, unless you had a point too.
Oh no, I'm gonna keep going. Matthew 25 and 15.
Mm-hmm.
And unto one he gave 5 talents,
Mm-hmm.
to another two,
Mm-hmm.
and to another one,
Mm-hmm.
to every man according to his several ability.
To every man according to what?
His several ability.
To every man according to his several ability. Now, the fair question would be, why didn't he just make everything fair and give everybody 5 talents each, right? No, because he gave every man according to his several ability, and this is another thing that we got to look into, right? Envy is they say it in the world. I'm fairly certain that they have a Bible verse for this. Maybe I just can't think of it at the moment, right? But envy is the enemy of progress. When you look at what the next brother has and you wish that for yourself, that's the enemy of progress because you're not going to put that much effort into you're going to become discouraged. Man, he's already over there and I'm all the way back here. I don't even want to keep trying if I'm not going. Nah, right? That's why you have to look at the talents that you have, right? You have to look at the abilities that you have. That's why Christ gave them, or that man, right? That businessman gave according to their talents. He gave somebody 5 because that's the ability that they had. They had the ability to withhold 5. It's like not withhold, but they had the ability to withstand 5. And he gave
Yeah,
somebody 2 because they had the ability to withstand 2. He gave somebody 1 because you might just have the ability to withstand 1. Now, does that make you lesser because you have lesser ability? No, that's just what you are capable of, right? So we gotta live within our capabilities, but then also not let our capabilities limit us, right? Do Because Scripture talks about serving the Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. That's all your capability, right? And you know when you're giving 75% versus when you're giving 100%. you instinctively know, right? So in that mindset, when you're instinctively given 100% constantly, that becomes your normal. And then when that becomes your normal, you can exceed that normal, right? But if you're constantly given 70%, you're never going to exceed anything, right? Because that's your capability. You're living within your capability, but you're not trying to grow your capability. You see how that works, right? There's nuances to it. Obviously, if I have one talent, I'm gonna behave like I have one talent. I'm not gonna, oh yeah, he had five talents, so I'm gonna live like he do. I'm gonna have that same mindset that he do. No, that's not gonna benefit me because I don't have five talents. I have one talent. But because I have that one talent, if I want to raise it, if I want to grow it, I have to live within my capability, but also reach higher, if that makes sense, right? I'm not gonna live because him having five talents, we don't know why the Lord gave him five talents, right? We don't know what he has in his being that made him able to hold five talents. And I'm not that. The Lord didn't make me the same way he did. He didn't create me the same way he did, right? He created me to have one talent. But if I let that limit me, then I'm already failing, right? Don't let the fact that you may have less gifts or less abilities than your brother next to you limit you from growing out those abilities or limit you from learning other abilities um to what is it I'm looking for to add on to those abilities that you have now, right? If you had any point too.
Yeah, yeah, you just gotta max out what you're given, what you're
Yeah,
given. Like
yeah,
if anybody knows a great instructor, a great teacher, right? The greatest teachers or the greatest instructors can bring out the best of their students. And plus two, they know that all of their students just respectfully are not equal. That just is what it is. You
mm-hmm.
have some that can excel more than others in certain areas than others. And it takes a well groomed, a well studied, and a well disciplined, right, instructor or leader to bring that out and to see it and, to identify it, right, and to go about it that way. It's not like you're going to treat, okay, you know, all of my students, putting them on the task to do this, they all can't do that. Right? You put them in the best position for them to succeed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or else you'll be putting them, like for instance, the somebody who only can do the one move, just looking at it from a karate standpoint. Somebody who can only, do one particular move, right? Like you try to put him to do multiple moves,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he won't succeed, but he's extremely nice at the couple of moves that he knows. He may
Right.
actually be better than other people in that particular move. That one move that he
Mm-hmm.
excel in what you're given.
Yeah.
Don't let that be an excuse to, oh, dad, he got so many avenues that he can
Right.
walk down, right? But the one avenue that you're given, make sure you push it to the limit.
Right. Like I can only throw one kick. Damn, I'm not even going to try it no more. Now I'm gonna put myself in a position where that one kick is going to be the most effective.
Yeah. It's going
Right.
to be the deadliest kick.
It's gonna be the deadliest kick, and I'm gonna make sure I land that kick, right? Because it's the one thing I do. I'm gonna position myself where I could land that kick versus saying, "Oh, this brother's able to throw all these types of kicks, all these types of punches. He can backflip. He could do all that. I'm not even gonna try no more." Nah, right? So whatever gift you have, make sure you, like the brother said, you maximize it, right? Let's keep going.
Time. And to the other, he gave one talent
Mhm.
to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey.
Right. So after he done gave everybody everything, he left, right? So hold on though. Why after he gave the talent, why didn't he stay to make sure they all was doing what they were supposed to be doing? Right? Do brothers ask that, right? Because again, scripture talks about um what is that? The saints shall judge the earth. If he then being roughly paraphrasing it, that you're gonna judge the earth. If you can't judge even the smallest matters, how can you expect to judge the whole earth? Right? So brothers like want their hand held in even these smallest matters. No, this is the nation building, right? Right? This is the nation building. You're supposed to go through trial and error, but you can't go through that if you're just sitting on your ass, not even wanting to try anything, right? Christ is going to come back when we start seeking and when criteria are met, and not a second more, not a second less, right? But when those criteria don't start being met, then he's not going to come back. We have to meet a certain threshold first. This is why you see us out here on the highways and byways first, to get us through that threshold, right? To multiply the talents to a certain extent, right? To get us past a certain point that we need to be at, which we're quite frankly severely lacking in, right? Keep going in there.
Verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Then he that had received the 5 talents
Mm-hmm.
went and traded with the same.
Ka, let me look into that word for traded, right? Because when I was going through this real before, I looked into that word for traded, and it says is something. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. It says ergazomai, right? When we go into that Greek word for ergazomai, it means to work, to labor, to do work, to trade, make gains by trading, to do business, to do work, exercise, perform, to cause to exist, to produce, to work, to earn by working, to acquire, right? So again, that brother that went and that acquired 5 more talents, he didn't just trick his way into getting 5 more talents, or he didn't luck his way into getting more talents. He went out and put the work into it, which is the, if y'all remember earlier, this is the phenomenon that I was talking about that is exemplified in this parable, right? Whatever you have to increase it, you have to put in work towards it. You don't just sit on your ass. You don't just settle on your lease and expect your talents to be increased. No, it doesn't work that way. It can't work that way, and it hasn't worked that way. And because we think that it's worked that way, that's why we're where we're at right now, right? You want to see a change in the community, and you hope other people will do it, so you settle on your lease until other people do it, and you criticize the community because you don't see that change in it. That's not how it works. If I like to quote somebody, the famous Michael Jackson said, "Be the change you want." Right? If you want change, look at the man in the mirror first. It starts with you, right? That's why Scripture redundantly makes it clear that the kingdom of heaven is within us. We have the ability to manifest it, right? It's within us. We have to go out and do stuff. We don't just say it and then no. If you have talents, you go out and you build those talents. You put those talents to their utmost limit, to their utmost potential, and then you see the growth, and then you see the gain. You're not going to see the gain any other way. And this is what I was talking about earlier with your full capability, right? You have to, whatever gifts you have to use them, or you have to grow them to your full capability, your maximum effort. You serve the Lord with all your heart. Like, for example, I speak another language, right? I can reach another demographic of people, right? If I'm underutilizing that, I'm not bringing that language to the full potential that the Most High God has given me. I'm not going to increase that talent that He's given me, right? I have to go and do that, right? And brothers may have the ability to rap. That's a talent that the Most High God gave them. If you're using that just to get money, to get bitches, to get clout, right? You're not gonna you're not you're gonna get some gain, but again, it's gonna be worldly gain, and it's gonna pale in riches to what the Lord can give you, right? Because everything is for His praise and everything is for His name, right? So when we have these talents, we got to push them to their utmost limit to cause them to grow, right, to their capacity, to their utmost limit. If you had a point too,
Uh, uh,
kind of we could keep going.
uh, uh, so the verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Then he had it's like it then that he had received the 5 talents
Mm-hmm.
went and traded with the same and made them another 5 talents.
Made them another 5 talents. So that's the point we're making, right? Whatever you have, go out and increase in it, right? Scripture says in the last days, knowledge is going to be increasing. Knowledge isn't going to be increasing just to look pretty. Knowledge is going to be increasing so you can do more with that knowledge, right? So you can access more with that knowledge, so you can be more with that knowledge, right? Keep going.
Verse 17, and likewise, he that had received 2,
Mm-hmm.
he also gained another 2.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 18, but he that had received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19, after a long time, the Lord of those servants cometh and um, recompense with them.
Right. So after a long time, the Lord of that servant cometh. Right. So what is that? Right. So in that analogy, we're talking about Christ, right, being that man who gave talents according to each person's measure, went to that far country, being the spiritual realm, right, and he's waiting. He went on that journey, and then he's going to come back from that journey, right? So when he comes back, what is that looking like? Let me give 1 Corinthians 5, 2 Corinthians 5, 5 and 10.
It's the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 5. So like in chapter 5 and verse 10. For
Mm-hmm.
we must all appear before the judgment seat of Hamashiach,
Mm-hmm.
that every one may receive the things done in his body,
Mm-hmm.
according to that he have done,
According
whether
to what?
according to that what he had done,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be good or bad.
Right, and that's what the coming of that Lord is, right? When that Lord comes back, that's the coming of Christ. When he's going to judge people based on what they did with their talents, you're gonna have to give an account. When the Lord comes back and he say, "Hey man, I gave you the ability to rap. I gave you the ability to lead men." Like for example, Jonah, for example, right? I gave you the ability to lead men. I gave you the ability to prophesy, but you didn't want to do nothing with that. You just wanted to sit on your ass and do nothing. Why? What are you gonna say to the Lord, right? I gave you responsibility for this, this, and a third, and you didn't do none of that. What are you
Lord,
gonna
I don't never have no time for me.
do?
I don't never have. What about me? Like,
Hey man, that's gonna be a lot of people don't know that, and that's exactly why Christ is gonna say, "Be gone from me, I never knew you." Right? Because they're gonna be the same people that they're gonna be the same people that knew the commandments, right? Knew what it is they had to do, right? And then they didn't do it. Lord, I prophesied in thy name. Lord, I told people the mark of the beast was gonna come. Okay, did you go out and convert people, right? You told people the mark of the beast was going to come. What did you do with that? Did you tell them they were an Israelite? Did you bid them to the marriage, tell them to keep the commandments? Did you make a sanctuary for them to be able to grow in that? Right? Did you lead my Did you lead my flock? Were you a shepherd to my flock that I made you to be? Right? Oh nah, Lord, I was just an Instagram prophet. Oh nah, Lord, I was just on YouTube, but I thought that counted too, though, Lord. Nah, words ain't enough, man. Again, Isaiah 29:13, one of my all-time favorite scriptures says, "These people honor me with their lips." Yeah, you told people the mark of the beast was coming. Great, perfect. The at least is telling us the mark of the beast is coming at this point. They ain't even trying to hide it. Right?
yeah,
They playing literally by the playbook of the Bible. They ain't even try to hide it. So again, what sets you apart from them? Your actions. You're not doing anything by that. You're just saying words, right? Oh yeah, Lord, the Lord gave you this ability to see, right? And again, it goes back into the gifts that we were talking about. Whatever gifts the Lord gave you the ability to do, it's for, again, the betterment of the nation. It's not for you to have and then for you to brag about, right? Whatever the Lord gives you to do to increase it, what do you think? What do you think that Lord is gonna do with that man that he gave 5 talents to, and then he multiplied 5 more, so now he has 10, right? That man, he has 10, he's just going to take those talents, put it in his pocket? Nah, he's going to go and do business with them. He's going to go and make sure the house is straight with that talents that they multiplied, with those talents that he multiplied. All right, okay, I gave you 5 shekels. All right, you made 10 more shekels. All right, let me take those 10 shekels and make sure the utensils is straight. Let me make sure the roof is straight. Let me make sure the house is straight, because the amount of you will multiply. Now we could do more with that, right? The amount of people you brought into this truth, now we could do more with that, because you got to think about it again as building a nation, right? I gave five. I gave you. The Lord gave us understanding, right? He gave 5 people understanding of this truth. All right, you took those 5 people, and now you went and converted 25 people. Now we now have 25 people towards the building of the nation of Israel. When Christ come back and we go back into that land of Israel, how easier is it going to be to establish the nation of Israel with those many people that you now went and multiplied? We don't look at it like that, so we settle on our lease. It's not just for you. Those gifts that you have, those talents that you have, is not just for your benefits. If anything, if it's for your benefit, then you're failing, right? Those talents, those gifts are not just to benefit you, to make you look good.
yeah,
If it just makes you look good, then you're already failing. I'm not saying that it can't make you look good, because the Lord does that himself. But if your mindset, oh, I can do this, now no, those talents is not for that. It's for the building of the nation, right? Now you have 5 more talents. Now we could take care of the house better. The house being the nation of Israel, right? The land, the people, everything that we need to be the greatest nation, right? We need men. We need hands-on men to do that, to build that. But if you're settled on it at least thinking, oh yeah, I don't got enough talents, but this brother got more talents than me, or I don't even know what my talent is. Well, how would you know what your talent is if you're not going out there striving to find it? Or you're just sitting down thinking the Lord is going to somehow just magically shine a light on you, and then you're going to find out what your talent is. It's like in Harry Potter when they put that hat on you and they sword your hat. Gryffindor. It doesn't work that way. You have to go out and try stuff, and then you figure out, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not good at. Okay, if I'm good at this, how do I get better at this? Questions like that, that's what scripture means when it says examine yourself daily whether you be in the truth, because that should be your mindset when you're in the truth. Am I growing daily? Is my walk with God, am I getting closer and closer to that? Am I shining better and better into the day of perfection when the Lord comes? Am I doing these things? This is what you got to ask yourself, right? If you had a point too.
And the, bro's putting in the very, profound and the, understanding way, but to put it in the lamest terms, like, look, nobody should be feeling like, especially unless you're 50 plus, nobody should be feeling that you have reached your pinnacle of your talents.
Right.
If you feel that you maxed out and reached the pinnacle of your talents at whatever age you're at, and you're not like 50 plus at least, and that would even kind of be questionable then too, to be honest, because like we all should try to strive to push ourselves. We're seeing the Benjamite that's in our camp. I mean, that's not even to throw his age out there. I mean, and then just be walking around like look like he like 40 something. So it's like if you feel that you reach the pinnacle of your talents and what God gave you, I mean, then guess what? Then basically you're hiding your talents. If you feel that you
Mhm.
maxed out, I mean, at whatever stage that you are.
God, God, and that's a you shouldn't ever feel like that, right? That goes back to what I said earlier, where the law in Deuteronomy tells us to serve the Lord with all our heart and with all our mind. Since you're constantly always growing, your all is also constantly always growing. My all at 17 is not my all at 25 because I'm able to do more. I have more now, right? Now I have a house, now I have a job. I can do more at 25 than I could do at 17. So my all then is different than my all now. You're always constantly growing. So your all that you give to the Most High God should always constantly be elevating then too. If you can go to if you go to camp once a week, right? And then you're 25 now and you're still going to camp. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but if that's your all, then that's your all. But if that's not your all and you're going to camp once a week and you can do more, then that's not your all. You're not serving the Lord with all your heart, right? Serving the Lord with all your heart doesn't come with excuses. And we know we're all full of excuses, right? It's like, damn, Thursday is around, you went to camp, you're like, damn, Saturday came, I already went Thursday, so I don't really need to, right? That's the excuse that Satan gives you. I don't need to because I already did it. No, that's not all your heart then, because you do need to, because that's all your heart. That's the standard. All your heart, meaning all your effort, meaning all your not 50% of your best, not 70% of your best, 100% of your best, right? So if going to camp one time is 100% of your best, then that's 100% of your best. But if it's not, and you go to camp Thursday only, then that's only 50% of your best because you only did half of that. You didn't do your all. And again, doing your all doesn't come with excuses. It comes with doing them despite of the excuses. Damn, I got this coming up. I got this coming up. Let me at least make sure I go to camp at least the last 30 minutes or at least the last 45 minutes. Something. Let me give something to the Lord, right? Not saying because I'm in this position, I might as well not even try. That's not your all. That's not how you increase your talents. Again, you have to be consistent in the growing of your talents. That's what we went into that word for traded. I mean, he worked. He went and earned those talents. One of those definitions too, right? He earned every single one of those extra talents that he got because he went and worked for them, right? He was consistent in it. He didn't just earn one more talent and say, "All right, now I got six. Let me stop. I earned one extra talent." Nah, right? He went and was consistent in the earning of those talents. He didn't just do it halfway. A lot of us, again, like scripture says, are lukewarm. That's why we don't grow our talents. That's why we don't get anywhere. You're you're 12 years into this truth, so called, and you barely have your tassels on. That's lukewarm, right? That's not serving the Lord with all your heart. Because if you were serving the Lord with all your heart, you would do your due diligence to make sure you're wearing your tassels, to make sure you're keeping the commandments, to make sure you're growing your beard, whatever it is you have, right? To make sure you're wearing your fringes, whatever it is you can do. That's all your heart. That's all your soul. But if you're half warm in it, you're not going to see results. And that's another thing. Before I get into a little more rant, that's another thing. A lot of us are lukewarm,
Yeah.
expecting to see hot results.
Yeah.
Right? You're lukewarm. You're 50% expecting to, asking yourself why you're not seeing 100 results. If you're only giving 50, you're only going to get 50 back. That's what Scripture says, right? Be not deceived. The Lord is not mocked in Galatians 6 and 7. I could quote it to you because that stuck to me, right? Be not deceived. The Lord is not mocked. Whatever a man soweth, that he shall also reap. If you're given 50, you're going to get 50. That's fair, right? But when we were reading it in Matthew 25, that brother got five, right? And he got five more. That's fair, right? He put in 100%, so he was able to double it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The brother that got two put in 100%, so he was able to double it. If you're putting in 50%, wondering why you're not doubling it, was because you're putting in 50%. You're only going to get in what you put out. Right? If you had a point too.
Kind I want bring a precept about Matthew 6 and
God.
6 and what 21. 21. Yeah, that's just the point. I mean, it's 6 and 21. I mean, in any version, cool. I'll read KJV. This
God.
Matthew 6 and 21. For where your treasure is,
Mm-hmm.
there will your heart be also. So that's where your mind is at. Like where you're spending most of your time at doing, right? That's the your cares and your desires. This is why Christ said, don't love father, mothers, sister, brother, your children, right, more than me. Like this is why. Like he's not saying, obviously, of course, don't love your mom, right? Because scriptures say to honor your mom.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, of course, you gotta love your kids. Scriptures talk about to not be a deadbeat. That means to not be an infidel. So we understand that he's not saying that. He's saying that you're not supposed to put anything above the Most High God doing the work, following Hamashiach. This is nothing comes above that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then going into or land backing off of what bro's saying, like when bro's saying you get what you put out, right? With all your heart, like all these things that bro's saying, put your whole heart into it. We understand this. Like brothers, we exercise. Well, some brothers exercise a little more than me. I'm getting back onto it. All praises to the Lord.
Praise.
My little journey. That it was at one point. I think it was at like what 233, 232. Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 208.
Oh,
It's that
praise.
it ain't happened overnight, but all praises. I mean, like but we understand because what we understand because like just even doing push-ups, you like, okay, bet. I mean, you put your all into it until you can't do it no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So why can't we do that for the Lord? That's what I'm saying. So where your desire is, where your mind is at, like where you're spending most of your time at, wherever it is,
Mm-hmm.
that's where your treasure is. That's your treasure. So we always now, obviously, we got kids, we got family. Obviously, we got to serve on this plantation. This and this and that. You may want time to look at a little TV, do a little PlayStation, whatever. Yeah, I mean, but again, none of this stuff is wrong. We're not saying none of this stuff is wrong. We're saying that you know when this is your all, this is the made up character that you got. This is all you try to do is build him up. How about you building up your spiritual aspect? I mean,
God.
brothers that have an avatar in the damn game and be trying to look to build him up, be thinking about that damn character at the job. Hey,
God.
man. if I do this and add this move, dang, he'll get another rank up. I mean, how about you getting the damn rank up, man? Right for the Lord, man. These
It's
niggas is
too
crazy,
hard. I
man.
gotta put in work, bro. Too hard. I'd rather create a fake avatar, put in work towards that fake avatar than me actually put in work. That's crazy, right? But to land back off a point that you made about that Matthew 6:21, where your heart also is, right? And for better or worse, that is true. If your mind is always towards the streets, that's where you're gonna see the most gain, right? If you're like, damn, I'm trying, you're gonna naturally gravitate towards the street, and in the streets, you end up in prison or in a casket. So that's where you're gonna see the most gain. If your mind is always towards women, that's where you're gonna gravitate towards naturally, because that's what your treasure is, right? So again, that's why Christ said, put your mind or put your treasure in heaven, where none of these earthly things can corrupt it, none of these earthly attributes can corrupt it. If you put your mind towards the street, you're going to end up dying. If you put your mind towards women, you're going to end up being spoiled. If you put your mind towards your job, you can always end up fired. You can always end up getting let down, right? Because scripture says, cursed is he who make man his arms. If you put your trust or your treasure in any of these earthly man-made things, right, or man created concepts, then you're always gonna get disappointed in the end, right? Because what's the saying? Men may lie, and but numbers don't lie. Numbers is
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's
and
like
then
men, women lie, but numbers don't lie.
numbers don't lie, right? God also doesn't lie. He's not a man that he should lie or break his oath.
Right.
Because who are you that he gotta lie to you, right? So put your trust in the Lord. For better or worse, He's always gonna have you, right? So put your trust in the Lord. Put your treasures to where the Lord is, right? If I could get that Second Peter 4 and 5 Bible Gashah, right? Because we're gonna touch back into what to do when the Lord comes back, right? The Lord of that house comes back, and He gave you all these talents, and He gave you all these parables, and He gave you all these gifts, and you did nothing with them. And then He comes back, and then He looks at you like, why do I see no improvement, right?
First Peter 4 and 5, right?
First Peter 4 and 5, yes, sir.
This is the book of First Peter chapter 4 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Who shall give account to him that is
Mm-hmm.
ready to judge the quick and to the dead?
Right, and that's the thing, right? It says, but remember, that was. Can you read it again, Slakia? I got it.
In the book of First Peter chapter 4 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Who shall give account to him that is
First
ready?
Peter 4 and 5.
Yeah, First Peter 4 and 5, right?
Oh, I'm in the NLT. I'm tripping.
Oh no, that's what you want.
No, that's cool.
Did it? No, I'm getting that now too.
Okay, if you can.
Uh,
What the hell?
This is the book of First Peter chapter 4 and verse 5 in the
Mm-hmm.
NLT. But
Mm-hmm.
remember that they will have to face God,
Mm-hmm.
who will judge everyone, both the living and the dead.
Right. So remember that, right? You will have to get judged by the Lord, who's going to judge everyone. So He gave you all these gifts, all these talents, right? There's this motivational speaker, David Goggins. I'm sure people have heard of him at one point or another. The dude that be running everywhere, and he had this TikTok thing where he says, "Imagine." Obviously, he doesn't know the truth and he doesn't understand the nuances of the truth, right? But the analogy he gave was very powerful, and you can learn a lot from it. So he said, "Imagine you die and you get up to the pearly gates." He said, right, and you meet an angel or whatever it is that you get up there, and he tells you, "Oh, you're such and such, right? You're the dude that fed a bunch of kids, right? You're the dude that went to that establishes this orphanage, right? You're the dude that never let Granny shovel the snow when it snowed and it was a lot on her, right? You're the dude that was that and the third, and then you're like, nah, that wasn't me. I was the pizza eating dude that got sticky fingers and typed on a keyboard. That wasn't me, right? And he's like, oh my bad. That's what you should have been if you actually put
Mhm.
in the work, right? That's what you should have been if you got off the keyboards and actually did something. Now, there's a scripture where I think of, right, roughly paraphrasing it, it talks about how when you know the Lord and when you know the law and you depart from it, you're like a man beholding himself in the mirror, but never quite actually getting there, right? It's like the law gives you the potential of your best self. So you know the role, you know the road to achieve that best self, but you're never quite getting tunnel vision into actually achieving it, right? So that law is what gets you from that pizza eating dude with the sticky fingers typing on a keyboard to that man that actually taking action and doing for his community. The law does that. But because you again are settled on your lease, letting your talents waste away, you're underplaying to your potential, right? And then you get up there and you give an account of God, and then God is like, "Well, I never knew you." Right? Be gone from me, I never knew you, because the thing that I created, again, according to Jeremiah 2 and 21, has turned into a degenerate plant of a strange nation. I don't recognize you no more. I gave you this ability, I gave you this talent, I gave you the ability to speak to the hearts of men. I gave you the ability to relate to people. I gave you the ability of music to impact people's mind beautifully. But again, you underplayed to that. You said, nah, not today, man. I'm not going to the studio today. Right? Man, I'm just so tired. Let me fall back. I'm not gonna read today. Man, I'm so tired. I'm not gonna put together a lesson today. I'm just so tired. Right? Excuses, excuses, excuses. Right? And then those excuses start becoming normal to you, to the point where you don't even make excuses no more. You just don't do it. Right? And now it starts slowly eroding your talents. That's literally you burying underground. Right? As we're gonna keep going in Matthew 25. Unless you had a point too.
Um, uh, I don't know if you got it. High in the light, Matthew 5.
Nah, we could bring it out though.
Matthew 5, 5. I got the NLT 5 and 14. This book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 14. NLT. You are the light of the world, a
Mm-hmm.
like a city on a hilltop that
Mm-hmm.
cannot be hid. Right. So the Lord gave us His light. Right. The light being the law, statutes, and commandments, and we're supposed to be um, right. We're supposed to be out and about, letting our light so shine before men, not just per se smacking everybody upside the head, telling them they're Israelite. Because a lot of times you can you can say a whole lot by not saying nothing. Just
Right.
like how bro saying, being consistent, doing what you're supposed to do. Right. Everybody will eventually see it. They're going to see the change in you from who
Yeah.
you once was. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 15. No one lights a lamp and and then puts it underneath or salaka under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone that's in the house. So how everybody in your house or in your nation, right, can grow, become better, find out about this gospel, right? Tap into who they're supposed to be, right? When you got this good news, but you want to just sit on your hands with it,
Mm-hmm.
when you say, hey, listen, my best years are behind me. I
Yeah.
mean, I did mine. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I'm like, or like this again. Listen, it's the fourth quarter, right? Nobody cares that you put up 30 points in the first three, or almost first three quarters and the top of the fourth quarter, right? This is the fourth quarter, and we're close to the finish line, right? And the score is pretty close. We
Yeah.
need to score 10 more.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's it.
Nah, but I already scored 30 though. I already did my job. What did Kobe say? Job's not finished.
Imagine if Yahawashi had that mindset, like, man, I died for y'all niggas, man.
Listen, come
Like,
back. Come back for what?
that I did all the. I mean, like even like that. I got to die for my. I'm healing. I'm healing people. I'm
Yeah.
taking demons from kids,
I
right?
raised people from the dead.
And I mean, like that. And I got to die for them
What?
too.
What more you want from me?
I did
Everything.
my part, man. The healing these. I'm preaching to them the word, telling them about the kingdom, right? And I got to give my life up, right? What
That's,
they gonna do?
what do I get for myself? Like, when do I get some me time? You get some me time when you're in the kingdom, right? Scripture
Yeah.
says this place is not your rest. We talk about me time. Oh, I just need some me time. I get it. I want some me time too. But listen, me time don't feel so good when you remember, hey man, I still gotta get back in the game, right? Nah, let me celebrate, and I can truly enjoy the celebration when I got the trophy in my hand, right? Again, like Kobe said, job's not finished.
Yeah,
Why, why you
it's
not
not
smiling?
done.
Why you not smiling? You just won game one. Is the job finished? Why you not finished? This brother just came into the truth. Oh yeah, I'm glad, but are
Yeah,
we out of here?
no.
Then job's not finished. That's the mentality that we need to have. That's how, again, we grow the talents. Like the brother said, for us to be able to be that light and to shine and illuminate, we need to. We don't. That don't come by way of putting your talent under the earth and burying it. That don't come. That's actually contradictory to letting your light shine. It, like literally, the verse just said, you don't get your light and put it under a bushel. You don't get your light and bury it, right? You don't get your talent and bury it. That's not how you let it shine. Hey, brother, listen, I came to the truth by your music. I heard you talking about Tribe of Judah in there, and I didn't know what that meant. So I went on YouTube and I typed in. It just opened up the world of Israelites. I found these camps and it was talking about Judah and all of that. Okay, brother, now I'm hip to it. But that all came by way of a brother's talent rapping or singing, or a sister's talent rapping or singing, right? But that don't your light doesn't shine when you bury it under a bushel. That's not how it works. Your talent doesn't grow. Your talent isn't beneficial to anybody when you hide it under a bushel. And that's what again your talent is for. It's to be beneficial to your nation, right? Like for example, let's think very practically. For example, I know a brother that's a electrician, right? A very skilled brother that's an electrician. Imagine we had more of those, right? Electricians, Israelites. It'll be money into their pockets, and then they'll spend back into the community, and we're funneling money, we're circulating money in our community. So again, that's a skill, that's a talent. Or this brother's an electrician, go to him for your all your electrical needs. Or this brother's a plumber, go to him for all your plumber. Oh, this brother, like the brother Benji, he works on houses, right? Everything there is to know about a house, he knows it, right? So I would rather go to that brother, put some money in that brother's pocket, right? And then that brother could go into another brother that we have that makes eats, and then all of a sudden we are circulating money in the community. We're feeding each other, we're taking care of each other for us, by us. That's literally not that's growing your talent. That's not putting your talent under a bushel and burying it. But again, because we're so settled on our leaves, we don't have that mentality, and that's what's destroying us, right? And it's sad, but again, job's not finished. So we're still gonna keep talking about this until the job's done and we're out of here, right? But let's go back to that Matthew 25.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 20.
Mm-hmm.
And so he that had received 5 talents
Mm-hmm.
came and brought another 5 talents, saying, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21, his Lord said unto him, well done.
Said what?
His Lord said unto him, well done,
Oh boy.
thou good and faithful servant.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast been faithful, Slaka, thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
Right. And it says, well done, thou good and faithful servant, right? Now let's get Proverbs 28 and 20 real quick, right? Babakasha. No, this don't time out, man. Oh,
28 and 20. And it's the
John.
book of Proverbs, chapter 28 and verse 20. A faithful man shall abound with blessings.
Shall what?
A faithful man shall abound with blessings.
Mm-hmm.
But he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent.
Right. So it says a faithful man shall abound in blessings. And again, that's that faithful servant that knew, hey man, my Lord gave me my Lord gave me 5 talents. If I want to be a good and faithful servant, let me get more talents. Let me see what I could do to increase what my Lord gave me. That's a faithful servant. That's how you abound in blessings, right? People people pray for blessings and then do nothing and then expect the blessings to come. Oh Lord, I just pray for wisdom. Or I just pray for knowledge and eat a bag of chips and do no study and no research, no nothing, and then expect to get wisdom. What do you think the Lord's just going to deliver it into your head? He can do that, but again, he hasn't done that, right? You have to work for it. If you don't work for it, it's not as appreciated. It's not as beautiful, right? Like for us, for example, the whole nation for Israel. There's a there's a precept in Second Ezra, I believe it's 9, where it talks about this city was built and filled with goodly things. If you can't pass the danger set before it, how are you going to get that, right? If you don't work for anything, it's not as appreciated. You're spoiled, right? That's why people who are spoiled are like they don't value anything. You won't value the wisdom that you have if you don't work for it. You don't want value the knowledge that you have if you didn't work for it. It's just given to you, and again, that breeds pride also because you're like, damn, I'm just naturally like this. I got it like that.
Yeah.
No, if you work for it, you're more humble with it because you knew how painstakingly long it took to gather this knowledge, to gather this wisdom, to gather this ability. So it's it's humbling in itself as well. So that's why there's a saying that says trust the process, right? When you get there, you're gonna have these things, but the process is also gonna make a certain mindset out of you where you won't spoil or where you won't waste away the thing that you have now once you finish with the process. So that's why you have to trust the process, right? So again, being that faithful servant, knowing what your Lord required of you, and you ended up doing it. Again, that's why you're filled with blessings, right? Because you're faithful and you're long suffering to your Lord. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that Revelations 22. All right. Uh, Revelations 22 and 12, I believe it is. Can I? Let me see if I can pull it up
Give
right.
everybody according to their work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And it's the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 12. And
Mm-hmm.
behold, I come quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and my reward is with me
Mm-hmm.
to give every man according as his work shall be.
And that's good or bad. It didn't say to give every man according to his good work. It said according to his work. If you did bad work, you're gonna get bad reward or a punishment. If you did good work, you're gonna get a just reward, right? So just be faithful to the Lord in the ability that He gave you and do what it is that is required of you so that the work you're rewarded for is good work and not bad work, right? Is there more or no, or that's it?
Oh no, that's the
All right, Kyle, we could go back to that Matthew unless you had a point too.
uh,
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
in this book of Matthew, chapter 25 and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
He also that had received 2 talents
Mm-hmm.
came and said, Lord, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I had gained 2 other talents
Mm-hmm.
beside them.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 23. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant.
And
Thou
just to point out real quick too, right? Did He say to the servant that only had 2 talents and got 2 more talents? Did He say you only increased 2 more? I don't even know why you went and increased that, right? I care more about the brother that had the 5 talents that went and increased 5 talents. No, right? He
yeah,
didn't berate the brother that had the 2 talents and went and increased the 2 talents. So why are you berating yourselves for having less talents? The Lord isn't it looking like that. He's looking at what you have and what you're able to produce from what you have, right? That's all He's looking at. Oh yeah, this brother has more. I care more about this brother production because I gave him more. No, that's not how it works, right? That's not the standard of growth. The standard of growth is you, what you have, right? And how you're able to grow that. Not, oh, this brother has 5 and I only had 2, and I was only able to grow 4, and this brother grew 10, so I'm less than. No, that brother that had 2 and that grew 2, he still got the same well done, faithful servant, right? That's what we're working towards, to hear that well done, faithful servant, right? Yes, or matter of fact, keep going. We're gonna find out.
and and his Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant.
Mhm.
Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy Lord.
Right? So that brother that had the 2 talents and only multiplied 2 and got 4, he was still made a ruler of many things, right? It wasn't like he was now less than, because he only started out with two and was only multiplied two versus the brother that had the five and multiplied five, right? They were both made rulers, right? They both got the same penny of rulership that is the
Right.
reward for the work, right? So don't compare yourself to a brother that you see that seemingly has more and discourage yourself from increasing because you don't have as much as that brother. That's not how it works. That's not the standard of growth. If anything, you're still going to have to give an account of that, right? Because there's parables like this we can learn from. When you get up to the Lord and you point at the next brother and say, oh, he had this much parable, he had this much talent, and I didn't want to compete with that because I couldn't grow as much because he had more skills than me. The Lord's going to look at you and say, didn't my son give you the parable about the talents? Don't you know I don't care about how much you or him have? I'm not comparing it. I'm only comparing you and how much you can grow, right? So if you have a skill and you see the next brother that has seemingly more skills than you, again, don't let that discourage you from doing what you have to do. Again, you have to do what you have to do, right? Scripture says work out your own salvation.
Right.
You have to do what you have to do. The skills that you have to multiply them. The next brother isn't responsible for your salvation as much as you niggas like to make it seem that way. That brother is not responsible for your salvation. I'm not responsible for your salvation. That brother's not responsible for your salvation. We can only guide you, right? You have to go out and put the work in for yourself, right? Keep going on that.
Verse 24.
Mm-hmm.
Then he which had received the one talent
Mm-hmm.
came and said, Lord, I know thee that thou art a hard man. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Salaki. Um, Salaki, a hard man, um,
Reaping.
reaping where thou hast not sown, and
Mm-hmm.
gathering where thou has not
Straw.
okay, has not stored.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 25, and I was afraid and went and had hid thy talent in the earth,
Wait, did he say hit thy talent or hit my talent?
and I have hid thy talent in the earth.
So that's what we got to realize here, right? This is the mistake that a lot of our people make. We think that the skills that we have are ours. They're not. It's the Lord's. So when you're again putting your light under a bushel, really it's not your light, it's the light of the Lord that you're hiding, right? Scripture says that in Isaiah, roughly paraphrasing, that we track the name of the Lord through mud, right? We do that by again letting our skills erode or not living up to our skill set. So again, it's not your talents. It's the Lord's talent that you're hiding, right? And the Lord gave you those talents expecting an increase of harvest, which he didn't get, which he doesn't get when you don't live up to it. So don't say, "Oh yeah, it's how you gonna tell me what to do with my abilities, bro?" It's not your abilities. It's the Lord's abilities. Oh, I don't want to. It's like again, I'm using this talent because it's the easiest to make analogy out of. It's like telling a brother that can rap, "Hey, bro, I think you should get in the booth more." How you gonna tell me what to do, bro? I'm the rapper. Yeah, but it's by way of the Lord. So again, Scripture says that whenever you praise the Lord, you can't ever do enough, right? Enough is never enough when you praise the Lord. So I don't care if you make 15, 20 songs. I'm still gonna tell you to get back in the booth because we have to do these things. I don't care, and I'm working on myself as well when I say these things, right? And these lessons are as much for you as they are for us, right?
Uh,
So when I give the analogy of me speaking French, I don't care if I make 20 videos speaking French. I gotta make another one. I gotta keep going, right? I don't care whatever, because enough is never enough. Because it's not my gift. I have to make sure I give the increase, right? Okay, I let you borrow the ability to speak French, just like how he gave to the apostles in the day of Pentecost when they were able to speak in tongues to every nation. They converted many that day, right? Because the Lord gave them the ability and he expected an increase. Okay, I gave you the ability to do that. I didn't just give it to you for amazement. Yeah, it's a miracle, but it serves a practical use to get people to understand what it is that's happening, right? So I gave you this ability to reach people and to bid them to the marriage. If you're not doing that, then you're again putting your talents in the ground. You're hiding your talents. and that you're going to have to give an account for that, because that's what your reward is based off, right? How much were you able to do with what you were given? Right? You had a point too, bro. Kind of, if we could keep going on that.
Verse 25, and I was afraid and went and hid thy talent in
Mm-hmm.
the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Lo, there thou hast that it is thine.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 26, his Lord answered and said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant,
Thou what?
thou wicked and slothful servant.
And again, that's why we started this precept, this lesson out with yet a little slumber, because that's an act of slothfulness, right? Every Both of those um, servants prior got that and well done and good servant, right? So in that same spirit, if he continued and he only had one talent and he multiplied one talent, he would have got that well done and good servant too, right? Because he was slothful in his work, he settled on his lease. Man, Lord, I know you gave me one talent, and I know you're very particular about this talent, so I'm not gonna do nothing with it. I don't wanna mess up, right? I don't want to do nothing with it. I'm just gonna hold on to it. I'm not gonna make it grow. I'm not gonna nothing. I'm not gonna water this talent, right? This little seed of talent that you gave me. I know how particular you are about it. Listen, I just buried it. I didn't even water it, so it couldn't sprout. Listen, you can have it back, right? And people say in the church, come as you are, right? That's not how the Lord is. I gave you the seed, I expect a tree back. I don't want it back as I gave it to you, right? I want it back as a tree. That's why I gave it to you, so you can nurture it, so you can grow it. But again, that mindset comes from false teachings of the gospel, right? Or the scriptures, right? It's not come as you are. The Lord didn't give you this abilities and then not expect a yield. Why would he give you the abilities in the first place if he didn't expect you to do anything with them? Do y'all ever ask yourself that question? Why am I able to do this? Like, just why am I able to sing? Why am I able to run fast? Why am I able to do math fast in my head? Why am I able to do these things?
You're
It's a gift
right.
that He gave you to praise Him for reflect, because we are what? We are a reflection of the Lord, right? So whatever our acts are, either we reflect good on the Lord or we reflect mud on the Lord. And right now we're reflecting mud on the Lord because we aren't living up to our potential, right? The seed that He planted into us. Matter of fact, I get this a lot. I'm not gonna get it. I'm just gonna quote it in Jeremiah 2:21. He said He planted us an upright seed, right? A beautiful seed. How then are we turned into a degenerate plant because we don't water the the talents that He gave us, the abilities that He gave us? And again, we did this lesson on living waters, how we watered the seed that He gave us for us to sprout, right? Because we don't water these things, we turn into a degenerate plant. We're instead being watered by polluted Flint, Michigan water, right? And we wonder why the seed is not sprouting, because we're not watering it properly. But for us to water, we got to get up off our ass and actually do work that's going to feed the seed that's been given in us. But we don't do that. And again, that's letting your talent being buried. We're going to finish that, and I got two more precepts.
26, and his Lord said unto him, thou wicked and slothful servant, thou
Mm-hmm.
knowest that I reap where I sow not, and
Mm-hmm.
gather where I have not sown.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 27, and thou art therefore to have put my money into the exchangers,
Mm-hmm.
and then at at my coming I should have received my own with
Mm-hmm.
with interest.
Keep going.
Verse 28, take therefore the talent from him
Mm-hmm.
and give it unto him which
Mm-hmm.
hath 10 talents.
Mm-hmm. And that's it, right? If you could get for me Matthew 13 and 12, Baba Kasha, right? Take therefore the talent that you have and give on to the one that have 10 talents, right? So that is the end of a person, which we see a lot of abundance in the community, which are settled on their lease and don't want to grow their talents, but somehow think that they're going to somehow avoid that end. You see how the talent which he had was taken from him and was given unto another person, and he wasn't made a ruler, right? And you're just like that person, that slothful servant that was settled on their lease, but for some reason you think you're gonna get a different outcome than that. Why? How? Clue me into as why you think you're gonna get a different outcome than that when you didn't increase no talents that the Lord gave you, when you were slothful in your work, in the Lord's business, in the Father's business. Clue me in into as to why. When you're not serving the Lord with all your heart, you think you're gonna get a different end than that. You think you're gonna get something different than be going from me, I never knew you. Why? I don't understand it. Because we up here we're working and we still don't know if we're working enough to get something different than that. Versus y'all who only watch and only criticize and never actually give, hey man, where are y'all? How can I join y'all? It's always I want to use that precept. Or if I would have talked to him, I would have talked to him like this. How about you come up here and talk? We're all y'all. I want to come up here and conversate with y'all. I want to come up here and see how I could become a part of y'all. It don't have to be us per se, but like just the movement of Israelites. It's always a critique of it. It's never try to understand it. But you expect a different ending when you're settled on your lease and do nothing but criticize and bury your talents, right? You had a point too?
Can the just the fact of yeah, hearing brothers say, yeah, why you trying to end the conversation? They were trying to still, man, I would have used this precept. It is different. Like respectfully, it's different you see when you see it being done. We're teaching. We're not prep. It's not like we prep people and then meet them out there. Like we're literally answering questions on the fly. Like
As they
just
come.
just questions that people come up with, and we're just now meeting them. So it's like it's very easy to say what you could have, would have, should have did on a video that's already recorded that you could rewind and fast forward, but in the real time action, it's kind of different.
Yeah. Or if you feel so strongly about it, how about you come do it, and then we'll see how well you do. No, like no shit or anything. Like we'll genuinely see how well you do, because it seems as though y'all have like the brother said, like we're not setting these up prior to the camera turn on. Like we don't go to our camp spot, find a couple of people that are down the street. Hey man, just 30 minutes go by, just walk by. We're gonna be down there. Make sure you walk by, ask me this question, ask me that question, and then ask me that question, and then you can walk by, and I got 50 for you. It's not that, right? We're like the brother said, we're answering questions on the spot. We're not preparing for this. So the Lord said it. Think not what you're gonna say in those moments. I will give you a tongue to speak. So whatever we're saying does the Lord give us others to speak, right? But we're not even entertaining y'all. I'm not gonna entertain anybody that's not out there actually actively trying to bring about the kingdom of the Lord. I'm not. I'm sorry. It may hurt your feelings, and I hope it does, so it can motivate you to get up off your ass and actually do something, right? I'm not gonna. I see those comments or those things in there. I'm not bothered by it because you're not out there doing the work. Anybody that's out there doing the work, I have mad love and respect for because I know the amount of energy it takes out there to go and do that. So anybody out there, I already have my respect to you if you're doing that. If you're able-bodied and you're not doing that, it's questionable, right? It's questionable.
And it's a lot, and I even say able body because we didn't sing brothers in wheelchairs, right?
Yeah,
Come out there and be out there. So
and still put in bricks. So again, it's questionable. But I'm not even worried about that. But let's get that Matthew right. Keep in mind the brother that had the one talent that didn't do anything with it. It was taken from him. Right. Keep that in mind.
and this is Matthew 13 and 24, and
12.
another slot is Matthew 13 and verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
For whosoever have, to him shall be given, and
Mm-hmm.
he shall have more in abundance.
Mm-hmm.
But whosoever have not, from him shall be taken away, even that he haveth.
Even that which he had. Right. So the brother that had the one talent, he didn't have the drive. He didn't have the wherewithal to increase that talent. He didn't have. So even that which he had was taken away and given to another. It was given to that brother with the 10 talent. So I don't want you to be that person who didn't even have that that has that settled on their lease rate. Again, we talk about that a lot because it's very detrimental to the building of the nation. If you're building something, the worst thing you can have is a slothful attitude towards it. Right? If you're building anything, if you're working towards anything, the worst you can have is a procrastinating or a slothful attitude towards it. Oh, I'll get it done tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes. That's the worst attitude you can have when you're building something because it's never going to get built. So what you have is going to be taken from you. You know what? You're taking too long. Get out the way. I'll build it. Now that you're out the way, you're obsolete. You're not needed. You're going to be tossed into the fire where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth. And we don't want that from you because you were slothful, right? You had another point or no?
Uh,
All right, let me get Proverbs 19. YaBarakKa. Proverbs 19 and 5.
this is the book of Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 5 in the KJV. In the what 5?
Is it 5? Let me see. 15, Slakia.
Right. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 15 in the KJV. I'll read in the NLT. Lazy people sleep soundly.
Mm-hmm.
Like lazy people sleep soundly, but I don't Salakia. But illness leaves them hungry.
Right. And that's the point right here. Lazy people
Oh,
sleep soundly.
idleness, Salakia, idleness.
And that's the point right there. Right? Lazy people sleep soundly because they ain't got a care in the world. Right? You don't care that your people are getting gunned down. You don't care that ICE is running down on people. You don't care that there's children in cages. You don't care that the mark of the beast is coming because you're idle, right? And the fact that you're idle shows a mindset of I got time. Oh, I got time to do these things. I got time to fight for my no. The time is now to fight for your people, right? But again, you're gonna be hungry, right? But idleness leaves them hungry, and when that kingdom is being built, and you're not putting in your brick, again, when that kingdom is built afterward, you're not gonna reap the benefits thereof. The same as Noah after death by pain. You're not gonna get the first fruits, right? Because you didn't put it in your brick. You hid your light. You hid your light. You hid it under a bushel, and then you came to Christ. Nah, nah, nah. I didn't wear my fringes because see, I was trying to be harmless as a dove, but wise as a serpent. So that's why when I was at work, I took off my fringes. But I still believe though.
And
This that I just said, I did not make up. What I just said, I did not make up. We've heard this before.
but it's crazy though, bro, because it's like you say that you're willing to lose your life, but you're not willing to lose your job.
Yeah. So your job is worth more than your life. Yeah. Right. Because again, you're a good slave. But this parable of talents is tackling the slothfulness that our people have, right? Because we have gifts that need to be utilized for the building of our nation, for the establishment of our nation. There's people that are great um, people that comfort. There are people that are great at having a listening ear. People when you're going through stuff, they're great for listening to you. They're great people to vent, right? There are people that are solution oriented. So when you're when you have these skills and you let them ride and your people are suffering because the lack of skill being present to utilize, then you're destroying your nation. And again, I will go even as far as to say that your blood will be on their hands because when we don't have an avenue for these things, right, we resort to sin, right? When a brother doesn't have an avenue for I need a job for my kids, right? I need to get a job so I can feed my kids. I'm gonna resort to stealing. I don't care who it's from, right? But you have a brother that has a business that he owns that's not willing to hire his own people because he's a sellout coon. You're enabling your people to sin, right? So when these skills are there, when these abilities, when these talents are there that aren't being utilized, it leads to a domino effect that ultimately is sin. That again, it has your blood on it because you could have helped that brother with your talent, but you did it, and that brother now is in whatever he's in, and you're at fault for not loving your brother as yourself enough to go and help him. Right. So this parable about the talents, we were bringing it out. Lord willing, it's been edifying to tackle the slothfulness that our people have. If you have any skills that you even if you don't think it's useful to the nation, bring it out. Let the nation decide. Right.
Yeah.
Let people who let people say they don't have any of it versus you deciding you don't have any of it. Oh nah, I went out there, I tried of it, they didn't need it. All right, cool, perfect. At least you went out there and you put it out there, right? But don't decide for yourself that it's not needed and then you waste your skill away. That's not beneficial to anybody. Somebody out there needs a skill that you have, something. Whether it is to build another skill, whether it is to have a launch pad off to do something else with it, right? It may not be a directly useful skill. It may be a skill that you need to build off of to do something else, right? It could be that. Bring it out to the nation. Let the nation decide. Versus you saying, I don't know who's gonna need that. Put it out there. Let the Lord decide who needs that, right? But don't put your light under a bushel and then expect and then wonder why we're in darkness, right? The world is a pretty dark place, and we're all tucking our coats, wondering why it's so dark because nobody's willing to shine their light because they're tucking their talents, right? If I could get to Proverbs, what do I got written down? 24 and 30. And I'm going to close out with that. We're going to read from 30 to, let me see,
This is the book of
the
Proverbs,
NLT.
or NLV. Oh,
NLT.
NIV.
NLT.
Oh, sloppy. Yeah,
We're
it's
going
the
to read
book of
30.
Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 30 in the NLT.
Uh huh.
I walk by the field of a lazy person,
Uh huh.
the vineyard of one with no common sense.
Uh huh.
So like in verse 31, I saw that it was overgrown with nettles,
Mm
and it was covered with weeds,
hmm.
and its walls were broken down. Then, as I looked and thought about it, I learned this lesson.
Mm hmm.
Verse 33, a little extra sleep, a little more slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, then poverty will pronounce on or pounce on him, on you like a bandit.
Mm hmm.
Security, scarcely with attack will attack you like a armed robber.
God. And that's it, right? I walked by the vineyard of a slothful man, of a lazy man, right? And that vineyard is the nation of Israel right now, right? Because we're overgrown with weeds, nettles, right? Thorns. Look at the state of our communities, right? You have candle vigils at least on every other block, right? You have shoes hanging up on a wires, on electrical wires, every other block, right? Because the people, the honorable men are famished, right? They don't want to, or they're so called there. And I would even go into the word, how honorable are you if you're willing to watch evil stand by, right? So it's not even that they're famished, it's that they're incomplete. They're not even there, right? But you have these people that can speak out, say, "Oh, it's not my problem," right? They're settled on their lease. They're not willing to let their talent shine. They're not willing to let the wisdom that the Lord gave them shine, right? So of course the vineyard is going to be overgrown because the people that are supposed to be on it are lazy. Man, I'll leave it to the next generation. It's past my time, brother. What? That's the mindset that, oh, yet a little sleep, yet a little slumber, yet a little folding of the hands, and suddenly like a thief in the night, the day of the Lord is here. And what do you do then? Right? You're caught unawares with your pants down. Do you think you're going to survive? Yet a little sleep, yet a little hiding of the talents? No, you're going to be thrown out into fire where there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth, right? And we don't want that for our people. We don't want that for our people, honestly, right? We don't want that for our people. So learn the lesson before you have to learn it the hard way, right? Learn the lesson now before you have to learn it the hard way, because the hard way comes with missiles and nuclear fire and a lot of blood. So don't learn it that way. But hey, we're just some niggas on your camera, or we're just some niggas on your phone. What do we know, right? So with that, I hope brothers and sisters were edified. If we said anything wrong, definitely wasn't the spirit. Had to be the flesh. And with that, we want to say shalom and mawaf lababal.
Waffle